But for us little guys, we just gotta operate and do what we gotta do.
Exactly.
You know, this is the right thing.
And it happens a lot, like a whole lot, which is why a lot of nonprofits open and close down, because a lot of people, they're either abusing the power or they're not just filing their paperwork. The main thing is filing your paperwork every year, just filing your taxes. That's the main thing. Make sure you file the taxes, make sure everything is documented, every dollar that comes in, every dollar that goes out. Like, you know, one of my friends, Ken, what's up, he does Gentleman's Retreat. And he has like he has his account, his nonprofit account, or his account for his organization, because prime example, he's not a nonprofit. He has a physical conduit for his organization. So he's operating under another nonprofit, but he's doing amazing things. He has this organization that's called Gentleman's Retreat, where he takes troubled youth males, young troubled males, or males from inner city, you know, who could potentially get into like crazy situations growing up here. I don't know if anybody's seen it when they see us on Netflix.
Yes.
But the Central Park 5 situation. So what he does is, it's a real life situation where our youth are targeted, you know, by different entities around the community or outside the community. So he takes them away, and he basically has a whole mentorship group where he takes them to meet CEOs, he takes them up to like different organizations. I think he did CVS, he had someone with PACE. Right now, he was just in London, he was just in Montana. So he's doing all these things to put these young men into situations of empowerment.
Exposing them to different.
Yes, exposing them to things that they would never be exposed with. Like his story is amazing too. Like he's a good guy. Like he used to be a summer worker when I used to work at NYCHA. And in between him being a summer youth worker or a seasonal aide and then going to college, he picked up a gun charge. Not a bad guy. He just happened to be in a situation where he held it for somebody. Randomly, the one day he decides to be like, yo, I got you.
Right.
Boop, boop. He gets locked up, right? So here's the flip side to that. He gets to court and the judge is like, he has like a whole little mini documentary, it's amazing, where the judge is like, all right, you have no priors, you're a straight A student, like, you have a scholarship to go to Providence University right now. Let's work with that. Drop the charges. That's unheard of in New York.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. You know, coming from the South Bronx, like the judge was like, "This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna like basically watch over you." You know what I'm saying? Situation where I told you my bike. Like, you know, we're gonna watch over you, make sure you don't get in trouble for a certain amount of time, and let's see what happens. What happened was he went to Providence. He graduated. You know, we started like a pet business together too, and then he started the whole Gentleman's Retreat thing. Now he has all these youth, they come volunteer at my festival. Like, they're like a major component of the volunteer squad for the festival. Like, they do the runs for me, they go get water, they go help the other volunteers. Like, I can't have that volunteer status going during the festival without his crew of young men. So, and he's nurtured them, and that's what he's doing. So he's another example of someone who doesn't have the nonprofit status, but is operating under the umbrella of someone like me or Steve. You know, and that's the benefit of having a nonprofit, being able to help organizations like Ken in Gentleman's Retreat or somebody else, like me helping the people in the community center, because that's what I built it for, where I can help other people. Like, yo, what do you need to do? Like, how can I help you help the community? Because that's the most important thing. We don't need, we need more people to help. That's it. You know, we need more people to care. Everybody wants to care, but a lot of times they don't know how. So that's what we come in. Like, talk to one of us and we got you. Easy.
Yeah, it's important, like I said, to have organizations, especially like ours too, grassroots organizations, embedded in the community, because it sets an example. You know, because it doesn't take a catastrophe for us to be there. We're already there. So, you know, we serve so many different purposes apart from what our initial purpose is. You know, as inspiration alone, for kids to see someone from their community giving back to their community prompts something in them. So what we're doing, it's so broad based that I don't think a lot of people understand that. I could put Healing Souls in a nutshell and like, okay, this is what we do. We collect and distribute sneakers, but I would be underselling it. You understand? And it's so broad based and it's necessary for organizations like us to exist. But, you know, we can operate, like I said, on nothing. You know, we've been doing it. We operate on fumes sometimes. If you see the impact that we both have, where you're like, oh my God, like how much money do you bring in? Not much. You know, flying by the seat of our pants, but it's not in my pockets. It's not coming out of my pockets anymore, which I'm happy for because I do have a family and, you know, bills just like everybody else. But we're happy that we've harnessed enough support when we do need something. There are people that will donate, to the cause. So.
And it's about like creating opportunities. Like that's the main thing. Like he does his Unity Festival, Come in Unity. I went there with my daughter, amazing. She didn't want to leave. I felt bad. I was like, come on, yeah.
We actually have to turn off the music and kind of just like stop everything for people. But that's what you want. It's so organic.
Yes.
You know, but
and so he does his out there, and we do the Lower East Side United Festival. We're going on our 3rd annual. So this is like what we do here. But the thing is, it's so impactful.
Right.
This guy right there. So these are people involved, but for the most part, like the first year, so it's all about marketing as well, right? So that's my background. I'm a designer, come from a marketing background, done it for city, nonprofit, private. So the main thing is when we first started, I do all these career days, what I'm sure Steve does. We do all these career days around the community. We talk about our job, we talk about our organizations and stuff like that, what we do, who we are, inspire youth and different people in the room to, do certain things. But the main thing I noticed, especially about this community, is nobody knew what was going on in the community. All the organizations would be there, and they didn't know, like, the other organization up the block offered something that they didn't offer, and they could share those numbers. So I was like, hey, let's create a festival, and I was like, we're gonna get 50 to 60 organizations, we're gonna have all these resources, it's gonna be free, and let's give out book bags too, because a year prior, Delano gave me like 90 book bags. So I was excited, like, oh, okay, like things are moving. The next year, when I started this, I called a few people. I called Lila, I called Shahida, I called Power. Power came later on, but like Lila she's a community leader. She used to work at Goals. She works with NIDIS right now, New York Interfaith Disaster Services. And I was like, hey, I want to do this event. Like, can you help me get permits? Because I didn't know how to get permits. That's another thing. Look for people who know things that you don't know. You could do all the research, because I did all the research, but I still didn't know the process. I was like, all right, this I get the permit, but then when it actually happened, I was like, oh wait, I gotta sit in this community board meeting for 4 hours? Like I was there from like 7 to like, I don't know what time, 4 hours straight, 8, 9, 10, 11, listening to people talk about bike lanes for 4 hours. I didn't know that, I thought you just submit the form, you good. Like that's what it says, you submit it, you present it, you're all right. 4 hours later, I get the permit, like to close the streets off, get the school to close the park off for me. But that was also because of a relationship where I did a community day, a career day, and Deer Stacks was there. Shout out to Deer Stacks, you guys are amazing. Deer Stacks Footwear. Okay. They were there, so I connected with them, and I got them to donate, or I asked them, say, hey, would you guys like to donate back to the school you was just at? And they were like, how? I was like, they had prom, like the boys need shoes. I just donated like 10 suits. LaSalle Academy gave me like a bunch of blazers, a bunch of book bags for the festival. They donated like 24 pairs of shoes. And then they gave me care bags. They made their own care bags. And inside those care bags, they put gift certificates for free shoes. So every homeless person I gave the bag to, they were able to go online and order a free pair of shoes. And they get it sent to like a P.O. box or to somewhere, and they were able to get that. And that was a connection I made in a career day. And then from there, they connected me to another organization, then another one. So when I was doing all of this, that was the fuel to get people to learn about like growth and goals. You know what I'm saying? Like Erin Shusetto with this free IT training across the hall. Like you get certified Microsoft Office, Excel, PowerPoint. You get certifications right across the hall. Nobody knows about this stuff. Edgy's that I worked at for 10 years has free SAT prep. Nobody knew that. So I was like, all right, let's create this festival. But here was the twist. In order to get a book bag, the barbershop also closed down for the whole day. Alex, well, I've been my barber since I was 12. I'm 38. Crazy. So he closed out for the whole day. So in order to get a free haircut or book bag, you had to visit 8 to 10 tables. You had to get the stamp. I didn't, you're not getting no book bag, you're not getting no
Right.
haircut unless you learn
Right.
about your community and get empowered and do something.
Right.
So we did that. The first year we gave out 1,500 book bags. The second year, Drew, who's vice president, got Def Jam involved because he's an A&R at Def Jam. Def Jam was like, yo, we got you. We did 25 to 3, we did about 3,000 book bags that year because we don't only just give it hand to hand to the kids. We wait to the end. When the end happens, I go to each organization. I'm like, what do you need for your community?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jason set up 10 Ministries. He set up a prayer station. He's like, do you mind? I was like, do what you do.
Do what you do, yeah.
I can say no and have like, even if it's like 2 people who want to pray,
Right.
that's 2 people he just reached. Even if it's just 2 out of 1,000, somebody wanted to do something. And we was able to meet that need because we have child care, senior care, after school programs, job placement, English classes, GED class, we have everything. Just about any person or any organization you think of that you need a resource from is always there. So we did that, and this year we're in talks now. We're talking on Def Jam again. We're talking to Vice this year as well. They want to help out this year and get involved. But it's also the same thing, making sure people learn about the resources. Like right now, I got Sam out there. Sam, yeah, come on. Yeah, I got Sam out here. Sam runs I Can Do Better. He does an LES now. So Sam, come over here real quick.
Real quick.
So we're right here. Sam got to probably run out real quick.
Steve.
Sam, just quickly tell them what you do and why you do it.
Oh, I do it because I love my community. I actually came to this program in this building that we're in right now. This building, Hemstreet Settlement, gave me so much. I'm an alumni, New Life alumni, Boys Club alumni, and I just want to give back. I can do better. I started because I lost a friend of mine, and I saw people suffering in the community, and I didn't want people celebrating death. I want people celebrating life and honoring people and community members that did great in the community. So I've been doing it for 7 years. I'm going to continue doing it. I'm going to pass it down to his daughter, Leah. I'm also part of LS United, and I support and advocate for anything positive in Lower East Side dealing with youth sports. Anything else?
That we
I'm gonna say, actually, one of my former players is running his own program right now. We Run as One. Shout out to We Run as One NYC.
There we
And
go.
he came in. I was telling him that you're teaching about nonprofit right now. And I wanted to do this class so bad today, but because I'm running around doing this community work all day, because I got an event tomorrow, I couldn't be here. One of your best students hasn't missed a class yet, probably best attendance.
That's right. Don't forget, it's on YouTube. Growth and Goals.
Am I live right now?
Yeah, we're live right
I didn't even sign a waiver.
So let them know it'll be on the Growth and Goals channel.
Okay.
It's broken up into 3 sections.
Okay.
You know, so tell them to check it out or hit me up.
Definitely, I will.
Yeah.
That's why I missed it, because we can tune in now.
Sam.
Good luck, everybody. God bless.
So Sam is another good guy from the community. I grew up with him since he was really young. And a lot of people that I grew up with were all starting nonprofits in the community. Like we got Sam, we got Poopa, LES Skills and Drills. We got BG, Brian Garnhigh, who does LES
He
Express.
actually hit me up last night.
BG?
too. No, Poopa.
Poopa?
Yeah. So I gotta text him.
Yeah, he's dope. I think I spoke to him about you the other day in the barbershop.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's over there now. He just got shed, which is dope. We painted his park last year, and he's another one. He got like 6 kids, bro, and he's out. That's why I say like, yo, there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like if everybody has some type of hurdle in their life, there's always, whether it's starting a business, starting a nonprofit, doing things. He got 6 kids.
Life happens, man.
You know what I'm
Regardless.
saying? Like,
There's no perfect opportunity. You know, you learn
Exactly.
that the way it is. Oh, this is the perfect time to do this. And nah, it's especially like 6 kids. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a challenge. So.
We also have Lila. Lila also helps out with Wine at Care a lot, but she, like I said, she works with Nidus. She's another one, single mom with 6 kids, and is out there, like advocating for families in Puerto Rico, on the island, off the island. She's been going to help paint community centers, dropping off packages. Power came in. We started with Power and Lila. I saw there how much they wanted to help out Puerto Rico. With me, I wanted to help out, but I was like, all right, but I still have all the New York stuff, all the Lower East Side stuff, all the Brooklyn, all the stuff I was doing here. So I was like, all right, if you guys could spearhead that, we could start a whole Puerto Rico initiative. I was like, because there's only so much I could do before I'm stretched thin and I'm just burnt out. So when they came in, I was like, yes, So then we worked together, New Balance, we get the sneakers for them, for Jason and stuff like that. And then with them, Power raised like 10 grand on his own. He got one person to write us a check, and then he helped produce a live show in the Clemente Center, Lower East Side, with Kelvin, who did a one-man show for the Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. He did a one-man show of the whole book. He raised like $5,000, donated it. We used that money to buy generators, to buy filters, to buy different things that the community needed. They sent Power and Light out there. They went out there. They went and did like food shopping for communities out there. Because it's actually cheaper to buy things out there than to try to ship things. And we learned that the hard way. You know, like a lot of times with nonprofit and just business in general, you learn as you go with certain things. Because certain, like, it was a disaster that nobody's ever seen. So it's like, all right, how do we figure this out? We had an opportunity to send containers out there, whole like shipping containers. And it was like, all right, that's like $10,000. I was like, wait, what? How about we send people out there? So there's different ways you got to figure out how to use it. It's not about how much money you have. It's about how resourceful you are
and how creative you are. Because same thing, like shipping stuff, you know, that stuff gets expensive. And in certain countries, like to clear the stuff from customs, it's a whole nother process. So you gotta get real creative. Like I'm a vet, so like when I fly, I get 2 free bags each ticket I book. So when I travel, like I'm making use of that, right? So like even when we're going to LA, like my wife, you know, me and my wife are going, so 4 duffel bags coming, you know. So you get real creative on, you know, attacking the problem. And I think that's a great part. It's just like learning, you know, the process of, you know, building your nonprofit, starting your business and all that. Once you start to get resourceful, once you do get some money, you're gonna be so efficient with that little bit of money that you are gonna do wonders. You know, and that's what we're doing. Like we, you know, when you travel, okay, where's the cheapest hotel? You know, like you really get to that penny pinching point because you want it to last and be as impactful as possible. So yeah, shipping and clearing, and you knew everybody got their hand out, like, oh, I'm here to help, you know.
A good example of the penny pinching and being resourceful was right now CEC1, Community Education Council for District 1, just hit me up like, hey, we want to donate stuff, you know, send us links so we can order some stuff for you. You got like $500 budget. So I'm like, all right, man. You know, so being that I've been doing the festival for like 2 years, I go to like all the bulk ordering sites. So I know like this one site that I like a lot, which is Bags in Bulk. That's a good one. They have quality book bags, quality stuff for wholesale prices. You know, plus you put in your tax exempt status, so you don't have to pay no taxes on anything. Shipping is free. You know, they have free shipping. So I'm like, wow, and they ship fast. Like last year, we ordered 1,200 book bags, and it came within a week. Like 2 weeks prior to the festival, I had 30 book bags. You know, like I got a quick chunk of change, or you know what I'm saying, and we put it in, or it came in within a week. You know, my cousin's apartment on Eldridge, Drew, he had literally 2,500 book bags in his apartment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had no living room. Like, he had literally no living room. Then my aunt stepped in and was like, there's a community center right under him that's not in use right now. So it's just a community space. So she's like, what I'll do is I'll open it so you can keep all the book bags in there, you know, so he could get it out of his apartment. And then you can have a space to pack all of them, because we still had to pack all of them. So then that even becomes a system, you know, it's like, all right, how can I, you know, get this packing good? Like, how can we create a system? So it goes from penny pinching to like creating systems in order to optimize your time, you know, because we all have lives, you know, families. Like, so there's other things we have to do, because a lot of times people see us and they're like, all right, what we're doing? We're like, I'm going home. Like, what are you talking about?
I think a lot of people, you know, when it comes to doing charity work, you know, they don't understand the back end of it as far as the prepping and all that stuff. Like they may see you on social media like, oh, I'm here, I'm giving out this, but they don't understand that, you know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior to that, you were sorting, you were cleaning, you were packing, you were booking, you were they don't see that end. They just see you in your position doing what you do. So they get a, you know, a false sense of, oh, I can do this, not really understanding what they're getting into. So it's a lot of work, a lot of time, and when you can optimize that time and be efficient and resourceful, then yeah, it gets a little bit easier, because we have systems in place now where, okay, last year, you know, like what's going on?
Like good example of that is with the festival. Like, it's so automated now.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's have a meeting once a week. I'm like,
You don't need it.
get the permits, get the volunteers,
Right.
get the food, get the vendors, get this, get that, get that. I got the rest, we good.
Right.
Okay, done. You know, like everybody knows their role now. Where it's like, all right, let's just start. Everybody's just waiting for like, let's go.
Go. Right.
Go. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get it. Like, let's do this. Here's the forms, here's everything to fill in, we're good. Like, just go. Like, oh, well, he was just, yo. So I'm doing this event with Lacoste and 210 Footwear Foundation. So we gotta they donated money to get the tennis courts painted in the community because this underserved community, the school literally has like no budget. Every time, the system is a little weird where every time a teacher gets a raise, they pull that money from the athletic budget. Why is the school, you know what I'm saying? Like, if a teacher's getting a raise, why are you pulling that money from any budget within the school? It baffles me, you know?
Especially a
So,
school like that.
exactly.
Politics.
So, that's the way the system is set up. So, I'm like, all right, we can come in. Like, they call me. I was like, yeah, I got the perfect opportunity. Like, those are the main courts on the Lower East Side. Not only because it's part of the school, because that court is open to the public all year round. They open it to the public, and they also rent it out to other organizations to also benefit the school. Because they use that money when they rent it out for the athletic department. Because they rather pay the teacher, you know, because if you think about it, you can't fundraise to pay the teacher, but you could fundraise for the athletic department. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we'll fundraise all year and we'll figure this out. Like, good leadership right there. The principal's a good leader. So came in like, hey, let's get this done. They're like, all right, let's do it. Facility's like, hey, let's do it. Everybody's like, hey, let's do it. The cost, get us a price. Like, let me know what's up.
Right.
So I went in, I do all the research, because I like to make it as easy as possible for donors. I don't want them to come back with questions. I want them to come back with like, yes or no. Remember that. Make sure any proposal you put together, you can start tomorrow with what you wrote down. That's how you're gonna get yeses across the board.
And you're prepared to start tomorrow.
Exactly. Make sure you're prepared to start tomorrow. You can prove you can start tomorrow. Like, I put decks together all the time where it's like, here's my deck. You give me this, we can start tomorrow. Like, we can start now if you're ready to do this. So that's what I did with them. I made sure they had everything to know. Like, we can start tomorrow if we needed to. So they're like, all right, we'll fund this. Let's go. We got volunteers. We'll give out 40 pairs of sneakers to the students as well. Like, and if you have volunteers who sign up, they can get some sneakers too. I'm like, oh, snap. Okay, like, Steve, I'll send you the link. You know what I'm saying? So, Mo, I'll send you guys a link. So if you guys want to come down and volunteer on July 17th, you can get a free pair of sneakers from Lacoste when you sign up to volunteer and you come help out. So we'll clean the park. But here's the thing. I call DOE because now they're like, everybody's like, yeah. Call DOE and make sure they approve it. Hey, everything's liability. No. So now I gotta work with DOE, which turns into like a week process. I'm like, all right, how can we resolve this? Because a lot of people will hear us liability, no.
Right.
Hey guys, we can't do it. They said no.
Right.
So I don't take no's. I'm like, all right, how can we fix it? What can we do to make this happen? They're like, all right, they can clean the park. You know, if you have workers who can clean the park, I was like, I got workers who can clean the park. Yeah. All right, you need a vendor. You need a licensed vendor, a licensed contractor to paint those courts. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so then I call the vendors. I call one of them who sells the paint, the actual tennis court paint. They're like, yeah, we can do that. They give me a quote. I'm like, great. Tell the cost, like, this is a situation. They're like, all right, cool. You already solved it. Like, because then when something happens like that, you want to be able to go to them with the problem and the solutions. Like, this is the solution. We can do this, or this. What do you want to do?
Right.
You know, so then they even more comfortable working with you. Like, all right, cool. Like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, so we did that. Came with the solution. They're like, all right, we're cool. We'll help clean the park. Like, they'll paint. All right, not a problem. Call the company back. Like, hey, we're ready to paint this book you guys on July 17th. How much I gotta pay you? They're like, they give me a quote. They misquoted me, right? Of like $2,500. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, great, it was gonna cost me like almost $4,500 to buy all the supplies and the paint. So I was like, damn, whatever, like, okay, like, let's do it. He's like, do what? And I'm like, let's paint, like, I wanna book you guys. He's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you, we don't do that. He's like, I thought maybe you just wanted to paint. And I was like, dude, you asking like how far are the courts, where's the location, can he get into the
Logistics,
field?
right?
He asked me all those logistics. I don't understand. He's like, no, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I was like trying to help you work through it, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why? So that happened. So then he said, I'll give you vendors. He gave me 4 vendors. He gave me 5. One of them is in Pennsylvania, automatically deleted. I called all 4 of them. They were like, he's not here, he'll call you back. Or she's not here, she'll call you back. A week later, no, nothing. I find 8 more vendors, call all of them. She's not here, they'll call you back. He's not here, send an email, send emails out. I got 2 replies. One from a guy, he's like, I'll be there Wednesday to check the court and I'll give you a quote. That was 2 weeks ago. Still nothing. I got another lady call me back like, hey, we can't do July 10th, so you should start looking for another organization or another company. I was like, all right, cool, thank you. Yeah, but you know, there's certain things. I'm like, what? I'm still talking.
Right.
I'm like, yo, what's going on right now? But this is what happens. Like they're trying to, like, hey, trying to help you with solutions.
Right.
When it's like, no, you're wasting my time. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta call 3 other people now. So that happens. But each time I'm like, can I get a quote? I'm like, can you give me a rough estimate? First guy's like, yeah, it probably costs like 21 grand. I'm like, what? Thank you.
What are you doing? Right?
The other lady's like, yeah, we can't do it, but it'll probably cost you like 12 grand. I'm like, oh my goodness, yo, like what is going on?
Right.
I'm like, this can't cost this much.
Right.
Yo, like, but then I'm like, man, the supplies are really expensive. But I'm like, still, like,
Right.
it's one coat. Like, I've done it.
It's not like you're digging it up and redoing it.
Exactly. So I know the labor behind this. I'm like, and that's a prime example. When we say experience the things, learn the things. So this now that I know how to do this already, I'm like, no, that's crazy.
Right.
That time doesn't equate to that dollar value. So that's already like 12 different companies I'm calling within 3 weeks. I'm like, oh my goodness. But it's also time management. Because what I did was, I just dedicated literally like 20 to 30 minutes a day. But then I broke into like 10 minutes here and then 10 minutes there. Because that's all it really takes to write an email. You copy paste that, you send them off to everybody else, or you call them like, you call somebody, you shut down that email so fast, like you don't have to type it out, think it through. I'm just like, hey, can we do this? No, okay, bye. Done. So it's like you said, it's all this time. So it's been 3 weeks already that I've been going through this process.
I gotta go feed my meter.
Okay. So 3 weeks already going through this process. Then finally, somebody gives me an alley-oop. They're like, yo, my boy Andre. I don't know if you know Andre Cirillo, but he's like, oh, I know these a couple vendors. They've done work for us in the past. Like they've done work for like other people that I know. They do a lot of city projects, and they're affordable. They get a lot of projects throughout the city because they underbid everybody because they're just affordable. They do great work. I call him. He's like, yeah, I'll call you back. 3 days later, I'm like, here we go again. Sends me an email with a dope quote. With an amazing quote. So all the equipment and everything was gonna come out to almost $4,500. He quoted me $5,700 to where everything. I'm like, he was like, well, we'll do the filling, we'll do the lines, we'll do the cleanup. Don't worry about it, we're good. I was like, wow, let's do it. But then it's gotta go back to DOE. So now DOE's like, we need the insurance, we need this, we need that. Good thing the guy was efficient. When he sent me the quote, he sent me all of that together. So I was able to just take that, send it right to DOE all together. And I'm actually a DOE vendor, I'm a nature vendor, and they actually knew me from different events that I've done with DOE. They're like, oh, Marty, don't worry about it, we got you. And I was able to go through, but it was 3 to 4 weeks of all of that stuff that nobody sees. So that's what it takes to run a nonprofit, or any business in general. That's the stuff that nobody's never gonna see. Like, putting a festival together, putting out all these, his Unity Festival, nobody sees the back end, they just see the result. So a lot of times people think that it's pretty simple, it's straightforward. It gets that way over time. So the thing to take away with this is learn the process and understand that in the beginning, it's really rough and it's tough, but once you get over that hump, your business, your nonprofit, anything that you're up to, anything that you're doing, is gonna get so simple and it's automated. And that's the main thing. You want to cut down your decision making during the day because it's scientifically proven. The more decisions you make, the more you wear down your mind, your decision making. So you do have like a well of decisions. So the more decisions you make every day, the worse the more decisions you make. By the time you get to the end of the day, you're making poor decisions. That's why, like for example, we spoke about it before with Steve Jobs. Always wears the same outfit, so he could cut down on his decision making. He wakes up every morning, he put on the same outfit. Mark Zuckerberg does the same thing now, because they understand, like, okay, hold up, like, let me just automate certain things. Like there's a doctor, her name is Dr. Youssef, and she deals with like brain functionality, the workplace, and creativity and stuff like that. And her thing was the same thing. She's like, yo, I have the same breakfast every morning, 2 eggs, fried, every day. I have the same 5 shirts in different colors. I have 1 shirt, 5 different colors. She was like, I have 2 dresses for conferences. That's it. My life is simple, you know? This way you cut down decision making, so as you get further on in the day, and you're writing that important email to investors, to backers, to clients, to customers, you're not like, get the fuck out of here. You know, like, I don't want to deal with this right now. You get to the end of it, you're like, hey, not a problem, we can definitely work through the situation. Because that's how you want to be. You want to be able to serve either your community or your clients. Because at the end of the day, running a nonprofit is still a business. It's still a business. You're just in a business of serving as opposed to making money. But you still need to make money. So that's the thing, you need to fundraise, you need to figure out different avenues of income in order to support the nonprofit. Some people take it and they run with it as a full business. Like I was on a round table for the executive leadership committee for PACE, Partnership for After School Education. And it's a round table of discussion. Every other month is a different topic. You deal with fundraising, you deal with staffing, you deal with just different things going on with nonprofits. And each organization was a nonprofit, and some of them take it on full time, and like this is their job. So that goes into another thing, is getting paid through your nonprofit. As a founder or as anybody in a nonprofit, you could work it out where you do get a salary. You just need to present that into your bylaws. Make sure you put that into the bylaws. Like, hey, whoever so-and-so will get paid a salary of X amount of dollars, or X percentage of any grants that come in. So as time, and a bylaw, don't forget your bylaws can be changed as often as you have to. You know, you meet with the board, you're like, hey, we're gonna do this. We need to update the bylaws to reflect on it. They have that flexibility because your company, your organization is gonna change over time. But the main thing is to stick to your mission statement. Whether you're running a business or you're running a nonprofit, you wanna stick to your mission statement, right? Your main purpose. So for example, his main purpose is footwear, but he does a whole bunch of other things. But in his bylaws and his mission statement is read like that, like, hey, this is what we do, and our thing is to serve the community. Like with me, when I filled out the one thing when I researched on how to submit your paperwork for the 501c3, the one thing I came across that helped me out a lot was simplify your mission statement for the paperwork. So basically, I took a paragraph and I turned it into a sentence. And our thing was providing beneficial resources for the disenfranchised and homeless communities. That's a lot. That is broad. You know what I'm saying? But it's quick, it's simple, they understand. Homeless, disenfranchised, done. Approved, see you later. Next. Because I think the tax guy, John, was telling me the IRS, the nonprofit department, I believe is like the smallest department within the IRS. But imagine everybody doing those short forms and long forms, they still read it. They literally sit there. Okay, cool, approved. Like, so I always tell people, when you're filling out your form, if you have like a paragraph, your mission statement, or your calls and that, they're gonna be like, hold on, I'll get that after lunch. After lunch turns into like, at the end of the week, they forgot they put it to the side. You know, like, things happen, so you wanna make things easy for everybody around you. So that's one thing, like, when you're starting your mission statement and you're doing your paperwork, know how to simplify that bad boy into a sentence. Because you're gonna also use that for your elevator pitch as well. When people ask you, like, hey, what does Why Not Care do? We provide beneficial resources for disenfranchised and homeless communities. Oh, that's dope. Steve,
That's the one thing too, like, having, I don't wanna call it a sales pitch, but it is what it is, right? So just having that, like, when we first started, like, I tried to encompass like everything we did. Somebody asks what we do, I'm like, I'm giving a laundry list, and as time went on, like, it became more and more, I'm like, we can't do this. So yeah, you have to simplify things down to, you know, our tagline is helping people walk towards brighter futures. So that can mean a whole range of things, and it encompasses in basically everything we do. And it's definitely a play on, you know, sneakers and shoes. So yeah, it's just simplifying and sticking to it and having it speak. Even though it's simple, it's still broad, you know, and it's important to be able to give it when you need to give it.
So we got 10 minutes left. Questions?
Questions?
Because like I said, nonprofit is also like running a business.
Right.
So if you guys have any questions, like day to day, stuff like that, like, like you doing a magazine.
Yeah, trying to set the whole process up for like, the LLC, what I should do. I'm putting together, I'm in like 15 pages right now.
Mhm.
So right now I'm trying to, before I launch it, I want to the legal docs together.
Okay.
I'll put it out there.
So I mean, you know, what you could do is come up with a business plan. When it comes to for-profit, I mean, any business anyway, like come up with a business plan, a vision of what you want to do, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Put that together so you have an idea of the direction you want to take. Because sometimes when it comes to running your own business, sometimes it starts one way and then you start to divert. And it's not a bad diversion, it's just that's where it's leading you.
Growth.
Right, so if you have a plan in place where you can say, okay, I'm gonna try to stick to this, if I veer off, I can manipulate this and that, at least you have a guideline you can follow. As far as like the incorporation paperwork and all of that stuff, it is stuff you can do on your own. It is stuff you can research, you can, go on the government websites and research whatever name you're gonna put the business under and operate under and see if that's available, and then you can file all the paperwork on your own. Like, it's doable. It's not this impossible task where I gotta go spend $5 grand on a lawyer to do this and wait months. Nah, you don't have to. Like I said, we did everything on our own, from the incorporating, our tax ID, our nonprofit status, our tax exemption status, all that stuff we did on our own. Just broke it down into chunks and attacked what needed to be attacked in the order it needed to be attacked in. It's doable. And there's resources and people you can, hey, I'm stuck here, what do I do? Because like with all our stuff, I still have all my research on my computer. So if I need to refer back to it, I'll go back to it. But I haven't had to, because good. But yeah, it's all doable.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, I guess, trademark, LLC, business credit. I'm trying to learn everything about all that.
It's possible, and it's work, right? It takes work. It's gonna get frustrating at times. Some things may not work in your favor. Some things you may have to navigate around. But it is work, and with anything that you're going after, if you put that time and that effort into it, you'll get what you need to get out of it. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not gonna sit back and be like, oh yeah, it's just gonna happen on its own. Nah, you gotta put that work in, no matter what. So if you have a plan and you have a vision, execute it, and that vision will come through, right? So, and where, government websites are there, like the information is there. You just gotta go look for it. Question? No, you good?
Okay.
Yeah, a question?
Again.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm ending. All right. So it's just somewhat confusing between non-profit and the business
For-profit.
profit
Mhm.
because like you have to make money, they said, and then you can hire like paid employees, right? If you wanted.
You can have paid employees,
Yeah.
but you personally cannot benefit from it, right? So me as the president of Healing Souls, if I wanted to draw a salary from the company, I couldn't. I could still be a board member, correct?
Yep.
But it can't. It has to be. There's some criteria that you have to follow where you can draw a salary from it, and then there's rules to that. Right? There's rules to the amount of salary you can draw based on the amount of money you're bringing in.
But I'm talking about the hiring totally stranger
You can hire people.
for pay.
You can hire people, yeah.
And then what's the difference? Like
There is no difference.
no difference.
No.
Not in that regard, right?
Yeah, not enough. But the one thing is, There is no difference. So if you're hiring somebody for nonprofit, it's the same thing as hiring for a for-profit. So in order to do that, you need to hire them, but then if you're gonna hire them, you gotta understand you gotta pay payroll, you gotta pay benefits, you gotta pay unemployment. So all those other costs come attached to that, unless you're hiring like contractors. When you pay contractors, you don't have to do all the other stuff. But when you're hiring full-time staff, you gotta pay for the benefits, you got all the stuff that New York requires as a full-time
So
employee.
you don't get any benefit as a non-profit status, right? Like you have to still pay for the employment tax portion of the withdrawal tax. You know what I mean? Like FICA and social
Right.
security.
So all that
Yeah.
stuff, for-profit and nonprofit, as an employee, you have to cover all of it.
Yeah, you still have to pay that. That's because at the end of the day, when you do a nonprofit, you're still filing as an incorporation.
Right.
So you're still filing as a regular company. And then the nonprofit, the 501c3 is just a tax exempt status. So it takes away the taxes and it lets the government know, like, yes, this is a business, but it's operating under the nonprofit umbrella, a 501c3.
So we don't pay dividends to shareholders.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one of the major differences. So a for-profit business, when you set up a for-profit business, like so my wife's daycare, right? So she can have shareholders in that business. She can pay dividends based on her profits. We don't have profits. Whatever money we make, whatever money we take in, as far as donations go, or grants, or whatever the case may be, that money has to sit in and pay out according to the nonprofit laws. So if we have an employee, we have to pay that employee's salary. If we have a contractor, somebody came and did a video for us, we have to pay that person out of that. So all of those things are still in play when it comes to an employee and a contractor. But we're not paying dividends to anyone. Nobody's benefiting financially in that sense. So there are subtle differences, but operating as a corporation, you operate as a corporation, regardless. The nonprofit aspect is something separate.
And that's the thing. I'm so happy to ask that question because a lot of people get that confused because even though it's a nonprofit, it's still a legal business under the New York State or wherever you are legal like business status. So you're still filing a regular, because in order to get the 501c3, you have to file as a business with the New York State or whatever state you're in. You have to file an incorporation, or typically they tell you to file an incorporation because of the structure of that status, or the structure of that business status, as opposed to like an LLC, which is limited liability company. The structure of an incorporation is, more friendly towards a 501c3. There's also 20 different nonprofit things.
Designations, right?
Yeah.
There's different I'm a 501c3. There are 501c6s, there's a whole range.
But the 501,
Oh, we didn't mention that part.
but the 501c3 is the one designated for like tax exemptions. So that's the one you want to file when you're doing a nonprofit. So when you go anywhere, if you see all these other things, 501c3 is what you're looking for your nonprofit. Because everybody does something differently. So that's why they have all these different variations of same thing with a corporation, a company, an S corp, a C corp.
So all the different designations, you can look, depending on what you want to do, you can look to see what pertains to the business that you're gonna set up. So, whatever designation fits your business, that's what you go with.
Keep the questions coming.
I was wondering, how do you get involved with like getting grants and all that?
The grant process we're learning now. So that's not a thing that I'm well versed in. I'm researching. But I don't know, do you have any experience with it?
So, here's the thing with grants. Each grant is different according to who's giving the grant out. A grant is essentially somebody giving money to you, right? So you just need to figure out what the stipulations are for that specific grant. So typically it's kind of the same process where it's like, this is who we are, this is our nonprofit, this is our business plan for what we're asking for. So that's why you need your business plans for especially for grants, because let's say for example, we're doing the community festival, right? Let's say Goldman Sachs comes and they're like, hey, we want to fund this. Give us your deck or your proposal, your RFP, request for proposal, you know, so here you go, okay, here's our grant application. So some people have applications, some people would just like give us a request for proposal, or give us a proposal, or give us what you need, you know, or what we need to decide to give you this grant. But typically it's an application. So there's different applications for different organizations that are giving it out, according to who's giving it out. And then from there, they'll let you know if it's discretionary or non-discretionary. Discretionary typically means you need to go according to the stipulation. So like he said earlier, if they say, hey, this can only go to the community event, but it can only go to hot dogs and hamburgers. All this money needs to go to hot dogs and hamburgers, and you need to send me all those receipts. So it needs to be documented. So all his receipts for that specific grant, if it's like $1,000, he needs to show $1,000 worth of hot dogs and hamburgers.
Before you submit the grant application, you know the kind of condition, right?
Yeah, because it's usually when they give you the application,
It's
or
not a surprise.
yeah, and they'll give you a list of things, or they'll say, hey, this is what this grant is for. Do you want to apply? Now, the non-discretionary grant is a better grant because there's no stipulation on it. They're saying we're giving you $1,000 for the festival. Do what you need to do. That's better because if I get the discretionary and I'm stuck to $1,000 for hot dogs and hamburgers, and I only needed $500 worth of that, now either I can talk to them and be like, hey, I got $500 left over. Do you mind if I use it for this? But you have to get it in writing now. You know, you need to email them or write them and say, hey, we got $500 left over. Can I use this for this? Or do you want me to use it for next year? Or what would you prefer? So then it gets a little, you know, because now you're at the helm of the grantee. So now they have to dictate what you're going to do with the rest of that money. Or they'll dictate what you do with that money, period.
Do they give you money already, or after you spend and then
No,
submit
that
it?
also depends too. Sometimes it's like that.
Sometimes it's a spend and then.
And they'll reimburse you. But for the most part, they're gonna give you that money. They're like, here's the money, you know, it goes into your account, and you be like, all right, cool, here's everything, you set your receipts for, you put your Excel sheet together. Like, I always recommend getting like QuickBooks, or if you go with Excel, or any type of documenting program. I don't know what you use.
Excel, yeah.
So he uses Excel. You can use Google Pages.
Right.
Like if you don't have Excel, you can use Google Pages, or Apple Numbers is another version of Excel. Like there's different platforms you can use. Like I said, my friend Ken uses QuickBooks. So every time he swipes his card, it goes right into his QuickBooks. You know, so he don't even have to go in and do all of that. It goes right into it. So you could do that too. We set it up with your account. That's the best way to do it. You know, I don't really operate on large amounts of money. So it's easy for me to be like, yo, here you go, done. You know, give my receipts, give it to my accountant. I'll be like, yo, John, here you go. Do what you gotta do, brother. You know, but for the most part, yeah, grants, you have to apply for the grant. Then they have to review it. Sometimes it's a little tough because everybody is different. You know, not everybody, like you got Burger King, McDonald's, you know, Wendy's, everybody makes their burger differently. But at the end of the day, you're still getting money. You know, like, so it's just going with the stipulations, filling out the grant. There's people who are just grant writers.
Yeah, there's
Like, it's a
access
skill.
to that. It's a skill, and
Yeah.
a lot of the grant, like if you find a decent grant writer and they're like, listen, you know, 10% of whatever the grant is, like they'll charge you a fee. They're that good, you know. So, but that's a cost. You know,
Mhm.
it's a cost of doing business. So if you can't do it yourself, you know, you're gonna have to pay someone to do it.
And another thing that's good with that is because most times when you ask for the grant, you need to put the budget together for it. You can put that into your budget. Like, hey, I'm applying for this grant. The grant writer will know. They'll know, like, hey, they need to write themselves into the grant. Like, hey, I'm writing a grant, or whatever they want to title themselves. Sometimes it's like 10% will go to the grant writer, or 10% will go to like the facilitator of the grant, or however they want to word it. 20% will go to this, 30% will go to that, 40% will go to that, and they'll break it down like that. Like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, or this is how we're gonna spend the money. Like an itemized list. So there's different ways the grant can ask for it, or like I said, the grant writer. Sometimes, like I know one, Sonia, she's working Educational Line. She runs like a whole amazing nonprofit in Queens now for the community, but she was like getting edgies, like millions of dollars, like, oh, not saying million, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There's
Grant
money
writer.
out there. There's a lot of money out there, and I think a lot of people don't understand that aspect. There's money out there, for whether it be private donors, you know, your GoFundMe's, or you know, your Facebook, you know, whatever. And then you have grants. There's enough resources out there
Yes.
where we can all kind of thrive and attack the causes that we need, that we are passionate about. So, you know, writing a grant and finding a good grant writer is imperative. I'm trying to learn,
Yeah.
because like I said, I mean, I would like to pay someone, but I would rather not.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
you know, with us, we try to make every penny go to the cause, you know, so if you can learn how to do it yourself, like, man, I'm all for it.
There's a million YouTube videos out there, but again, nothing's better than actually doing it.
Doing it, yeah.
Just get a grant, find a grant that you think works with your cause, and fill it out and see what happens.
See what happens.
You know, like.
And you'll learn, it's a learning process as well, like, you may get the verbiage wrong,
Mhm.
you know? And you'll know what to do better next time, and eventually you'll get it, but, you know, it's a process, it's all a process, you know, it's all a process.
Yeah, because there's some grants where the process is so simple. Like I know, like Gail Brewer, who's the Manhattan Borough president. Her process for the grant is like, here's the application. This is what it's for. Are you doing things in the community? What are you doing? Name, organization. This is what we're doing. This is the date. This is how much we need. This is why we need it. Done. Someone like that.
Some of you
someone
gotta
yes,
you
someone's
write
like-
a novel.
yeah, like this is my breakdown. This is how long I've been doing it. This is what each penny goes to. Like some people are really good at that.
Projected impact, you know, just a bunch of things, which is good. You know, it's a good thing to know if you're giving X amount of dollars, you
Mhm.
want to know what it's going to, because, you know, if you want to look at it on the grand scheme, like there's a gazillion nonprofits across the country.
Mhm.
Like, who do they choose from? You know, so you have to be that reputable organization that you know has a good foundation where you're like, okay, this is where the money's going, and I can prove it to you. We do it with our sneakers, like our material donations. We do it from our donors. Like we take pictures and we send it to our donors. We take videos and we send it to our donors because they want to know where their stuff goes, and I want you to know where your stuff goes.
And then it will be repeated.
Exactly.
And then it'll be repeated, because I don't want anyone to say, because one of the biggest things that we get is why people don't donate. It's because they don't know where their stuff goes.
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. I give my stuff to XYZ organization and it just disappears. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit different. So, you know, you as a donor, you wanna know, and then when it comes to money, that's a whole nother ballgame. You know, so you wanna make sure you're on the up and up and you can account for every single penny that's given to you.
And that's also the advantage of social media.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you get to the event, you can post it up, you can share that link with certain donors. Like, my guy at New Balance, anytime we do something, like when I send it to 10 Ministries, or I'll send it to Steve, no matter what, I'm like, yo, just send me pictures and video, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. And I'll send it to him, like, immediately. Like, yo, here. Like, we got an award by the Puerto Rican Heritage Film Festival for the work we do in Puerto Rico. I sent it straight to my guys. Look, see, bro.
See,
you know, like,
it is.
when we get the proclamation on Wednesday, I'm like, look, bro, like, we legit out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they want to see. They want to feel comfortable knowing that what they're doing is going to a good cause, and we want them to know that too. Like, hey, thank you. You know, we
They're
appreciate
repeat
you.
donors. They're repeat donors.
When you said it's social media, you actually do all the Facebook, Instagram.
That's another thing.
It's a pain in the neck, isn't it?
Okay, so
I do mainly Instagram. The Facebook page doesn't really get a lot of traction like that, but it has gotten me donations. Like, you know, you post up, you're just consistent with it, just post up things. And nowadays, when you post on one page, you can just click the link and it goes automatically to your Facebook and Twitter. Like, when you do it through Instagram, you could just click the 2 toggle buttons. Like, boom, boom, and it goes to Facebook and Twitter. You know,
That's
so-
another
That's
thing.
better.
That's another
Yeah.
thing when you don't have any money. So you have to learn your social media. Learn how to build your website. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn. Well, like I learned graphic design because I can't afford to pay anyone. So I learned to design all our flyers, all our things. Like all of our content is, you know. So after a while, after doing it, you gain a rhythm and you know the stories you're trying to tell. but it is time consuming. There'll be times I'm sitting there trying to capture the picture because I wanna make sure it's captured, you know, the feeling is explained. And maybe I'll sit there for an hour and I won't even realize it. And I'll type in my notes, and I'll do it over. And so it's time consuming, but eventually, you know, you'll get it. But if you're true to it and it's an extension of you and your organization, like you put the time into making it happen.
For example, I'm updating the website right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is when everybody goes on, they can get the packs. Like, and this is why I always, like, I push Wix, because I feel like Wix is like super user friendly, like for me, like a lot of
Use
clients.
WordPress.
Use WordPress?
Yeah.
WordPress is nice too. Do you have, did you have somebody build out your WordPress site for you, or
No.
you just use the basic
No,
template?
we used the basic template and then just added the content to it, and now it's just, that was a learning process as well.
Mhm.
Like building the website and then learning how to update efficiently. You know, so instead of paying, you know, somebody to manage that for you and then waiting, and you can go on your laptop and do it in 5 minutes,
Right.
you know, so.
It used to be like you hire,
Right.
you ask the customized, you know, website for you.
Right.
Then it gets like a stable. Like
Right.
You can't really update easily.
Update
you
anything,
know.
right, you have to go back to them, so.
Yeah.
That's one thing I never like wanted for the organization, is to have anyone hold anything at ransom, hold social media, the website, anything at ransom, because that stalls your progress. So if you're waiting for someone to update your website and you need that content immediately, and they're taking 2 weeks to do it, like, don't bother, like, the time frame is past already. So, you know, with social media, it's a little bit different because, you know, with pictures and videos, you really, if you want to post content immediately, you can, but you kind of have some leeway to backtrack. But when it comes to website, if you have an event coming up, like, and you need that flyer posted or those links posted on the website, I need it before the event happens, not afterwards.
And it also saves you. It's like,
Saves you, yeah.
you just save so much money. Like we were talking about the Wix website where you don't have to pay for hosting on Wix. You know, you buy your domain name, you pay to get your domain name, and that's it.
That's it, right?
That's it. Done. You know, where previously you would have to buy your domain name, buy the host name. I mean, not the host name. Pay for the hosting. Pay for someone to design it for you, then pay for them to update it, or you gotta give them a monthly fee so they continue to do that. Like, as a designer, I avoided that, because I didn't want no client to drag on with that. Like, because my freelance business is a little different, where I've been doing this since 1999, so I don't want to do stuff that drags on. I just want to do dope stuff and keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Like, you know, like, oh, this is dope, I want to do this. Like, all right, let's do this. Like, here's my prices, go. I don't want to sit there and have to be like, hey, you didn't pay me this month for your website update. What's going on? Like, hey, Marty, we got to do a website update this week. You free? No, I'm not free. Like, now, if I'm not free, now everything they're doing is held up. So that goes into his point where it's like, now somebody got to wait like 2 weeks or something like that. So when you hold somebody to that, now you got to rely on them. You don't want to rely on anybody. You want to be as self-sufficient as possible. As a business owner in general,
Right.
you just want to be as self-sufficient as possible. Even if you don't know how to do this, especially Wix and WordPress, there's so many tutorials online to like go over it and learn it. Like Wix and WordPress, you're gonna learn so much off of YouTube videos. Like I personally like this, is like just like you just see me updated right now. Like I just went on, like I'm just like, all right, take this button right here, copy paste. You know what I'm saying? Okay, next. Let's keep going, like. So this works for me really quick because I like this, like, and I know a lot of my clients like this too, because I know like with WordPress, the back end is separate from the homepage.
Right.
So a lot of people like they struggle with that, but some people like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know, some people prefer that because with WordPress, you can go in and you can really change up the template to meet your needs. You can hire somebody to like just hook up your template and then do the back end part for you, and you have all that template there for you. It's so simple, like click and paste or click and upload.
I got lost. Okay, WordPress is not good because what?
No, it's
No.
good. It just serves a different need.
It has a back end.
Yeah.
You can update on the back end.
I don't understand.
So in other words, in order to update this page, I would have to do it from like this page.
Right.
So I would do it here, and then put in everything I need here, and then I can see it here.
Oh, right.
As opposed to me being able to do it right
Right
here.
there, right.
But it's all preference. It's all like what you prefer. Like, do you prefer doing it straight onto the homepage like this? Or do you prefer doing it like this? And then, do you prefer the features on WordPress? Do you prefer the features on Wix? Or Squarespace, or Shopify? So there's so many.
So there's so
Yeah.
many different ones, but it's whatever is user friendly to your
yeah.
talent,
To
right?
my
Yeah,
taste.
to your
Yeah,
taste
exactly.
and your, you know, your
The
technical
skill set.
ability.
Yeah, exactly.
So, with WordPress, what I do is like I'll build a page and let it sit before I publish it, and then when it's time to publish it, I just publish it, and it's meanwhile the front page is already everything is already.
Yep.
You know, so it's
With
preference.
the Wix, it's gonna be.
Wix,
as-
you can
as
do it, you can do it on.
So people will see it's under construction, it's now moving around?
No, they won't see
okay,
that.
so-
Only, it's like he said, I could do something like right now, I just did all of this, but it doesn't go live until I hit publish.
Oh, okay.
If I never hit publish, it's still the same right now.
Okay, then it's same. Oh, what, I don't see the difference. What?
No, in WordPress, go back to the back end. So WordPress, you can do everything here. In WordPress, we do everything on the back end. We don't do anything on the
On the homepage.
homepage.
So they don't do nothing on the live page, they do it on the back side. So you fill out the forms, and then when you go to this page, you can see it. So it's,
So
that's the
it's like
difference.
a wizard or something, a little bit.
Something like, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it.
It's not what you get, it's, what you see is what you get, but it's different structurally.
Yes,
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
more
different.
conceptual kind of.
Yeah. You're gonna always get the same results. It's still, they're both user friendly.
Right.
It's just they do things a little different. That's it. But I recommend WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, and Shopify. Those are the four websites, the four base websites, template sites that are user friendly. So though between those four, you can figure out which one works best for you.
Wix, WordPress, specify?
Shopify
Shopify.
and Squarespace.
Square what?
Squarespace.
Space.
So those four sites I always recommend to my clients or to anybody because they're all user-friendly templates. You don't pay for hosting, you pay to get your domain up or to put your domain on your site. Because otherwise it'll be like wix.com/growth and goals, or it'll be wordpress.com/so-so-so, unless you pay like the little fee, you know, and it's an annual fee. So you can pay monthly or annually, you can pay a 3-year fee, a 1-year fee. So you decide like how you want to do it. Like I have one website here, and I do a whole bunch of websites. It's full like let's go to my sites. So you see I have Growth and Goals, Why Not Care. This one I did the other week when everybody was here, as an example. Then I have LES United Festival, and then I have Launchpad Leaders. This one, you see, I started out with a year plan, but I realized I wasn't going to use it.
Right.
So I just stopped the plan. So now, you know, let's see, view the site. So if I want to edit it, I'll come over here. Pretty straightforward, it's gonna pop up. But then I realized, like, I really don't want to do this.
Right.
You know, or the person I was doing it with, we just decided, like, you know, you do your thing. But I went ahead and I did all the branding. But as you see, I only have 2 buttons here.
Right.
Home and contact.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, I didn't know, like, this is not even to the side, like, educational services coming soon. So it was something that it just didn't move forward. So with that, I have that, but then you see over here, manage pages. I had services
Right.
also, but I cut that out so nobody can see it now. I get little, so nobody can see that page. But you can still scroll through, but I could come in here and just go like this. Now nobody can see that. Done. We got it.
It's all practice. Like
Yeah.
you'll set up and then you'll try different things, and
Yup.
you know it just takes practice.
So if I have a domain URL, already
Yeah.
myself,
I can try Wix first, then WordPress
Right.
and stuff, and then.
So what'll happen is you'll just map it. It'll ask you to map it to your domain. If you're currently on the domain name, you can map it to that domain name through a lot of through Wix. You can do it.
Yep.
I know WordPress you can do it as well. You can. It'll say if you own a domain name, just plug it in, and then they'll contact the. I use GoDaddy. they'll do all the back end stuff, and then, you know, it'll come
Yeah,
up.
you used to be like, I register with a, GoDaddy for the URL, and then they wanna also host.
Right,
And
yeah,
then-
GoDaddy,
Then
they
you
have
have
a,
to try to switch.
Upsell you on
I'll tell you on everything, right?
Yeah, it's like a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool if you wanna have everything in one place, but it's not, you know, at this point, it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not. Like with Wix, matter of fact, with Wix, you don't even need to go to GoDaddy anymore.
No, you don't.
You can buy your domain name right on here.
Right.
You could buy your domain name right on here. Like, let's say, for example, we come back to my sites, right? And I get the examples that we did last time. So, Wix plan, so I got the free, and it's saying connect a domain. I don't have a domain, right? So I can just click that, and it'll ask me like, hey, do you want to connect domain? No, I want to buy one. What's the domain? Like, basketball, Marty drills. Boom. I think somebody should get that. Might be taken. Oh, it's not taken. So see, it's available. So now I can just go right here,
You know, this one, it's fun.
get it, and then it's gonna ask me, all right, if you want to do that, look, choose a yearly plan that includes 1 year voucher. Okay, or you can just buy this right now and keep it moving, but still have upgrade to your website. So it gives you the functionality right from the template. But WordPress, does WordPress?
It does the same, yeah, you can
So
buy it.
all the sites do it, WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify.
Just makes
So,
it easier.
yeah, they're kind of eliminating having to go other places.
It used to be not that user friendly.
No, it wasn't. You know, like you was talking about GoDaddy, house like.
Right, and then my partner wanted the hosting to be changed to Earthlink because a long time ago.
I remember.
Because Earthlink was supporting front page extension, and this one didn't, or something like that. And it was like a book of both.
Yeah,
We call
yeah.
both company, and then you know, it's gonna.
With I forget when WordPress, I think when we first started using WordPress, we had to go to GoDaddy and get the DNS and physically do it ourselves. Like,
That's what I had to do.
you know, so they've come a long way where it is user friendly. It's just, you know, it's a learning curve. So play around with it. Like, I've spent hours and hours doing it, but it's worth it because once you get it, now updates can take you 5 minutes. You can do it on the fly. I do it on my phone. I have the app on my phone. I can update on my phone. You know, if I need to do something that quickly. So after all the practice, then it becomes second nature to you. You
And
know?
all of them have the app.
Right.
So all 4 of those platforms have an app as well. Like I did something for, her name was Quinta, Q Styles Hair. She works in a barber shop. So a lot of times with clients, I'm not, like my freelance business is more like a freelance resource. Where people will call me and be like, hey, I'm starting a website, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, try one of these 4 sites. If you have, pick one that you really like. And then from there, I'll coach you. You know, you don't gotta pay me nothing because you're doing all the work. I'm just telling you like, hey, you know, look at that, think about using that, or stick to the template, don't use that wording, like it looks weird, like, you know, don't put hot pink with yellow, like, you know, so it's more like just, you know, critiques, like don't do that, don't do that. And I won't charge nobody, like, for what? Like, just free advice, just come talk to me for like 10
we're in a
minutes.
do-it-yourself society,
Yeah.
you know, like with everything, you know, and if you take the time to learn it, then you'll save yourself a lot of money on the front end and a lot of headache on the back end, because you know you'll be the go-to, and it's your business, so you're gonna be motivated to do the upkeep. You're not gonna let it slide, right? So nobody else is gonna care about your business more than you do. Nobody. It's facts, right? So if you're passionate about it, rock out. You know, sky's the limit. So you know, you put that work in.
So this is WordPress now. You see, it's super simple. You get all these cool templates. It looks overwhelming, but you know, look, it labels it beginner. You know, like so. It's all these websites do this for you. Like Wix, Squarespace, especially Wix and Squarespace, all the sites are beginner to intermediate. Like they all start at that level where anybody can use it. Shopify gets a little iffy. I'm not a big fan of it, but a lot of my clients love it. So let's say we take this one right here. So you see this is it right here. You can go in, and and it's showing you how your whole page looks,
Yeah.
right up front. Like this is your main homepage, and you scroll down, this will be your next page, your next one, and it's showing you that's how you get in contact. And then it's showing you, see, now it breaks it down into zones. Like this is what's in that area, and it's telling you the H2 heading, the media text. So when you go in and you're working on it, it's showing you exactly, hey, when you mess with the media and text, you're messing with this one. When you're doing the H2 heading, like this, that's your H2 heading. So
They've come a long way.
A long
And
way.
it's just plug and play basically. So if you already have the content that you want, what I would suggest is, you know, if you pick a layout, if you like that layout the way it is, then you just basically map out your content outside of the website and then plug everything in and see how it looks. See how it, you know, make it live and see if it's user friendly. And then, you know, tweak it as you go along, you know. But if you nowadays it's your social media and your website, like those are mandatory because those give the public a picture of your business and what you're trying to sell and what you're trying to do. So if those look and operate on a professional level, then people are going to take you seriously. You know, if your website is complicated and people are just like, you know, hell with this. You know, it's simple. Keep it simple, user friendly, and the right amount of content and the right amount of wording on there, it'll be good.
simple. See,
Simple,
this is
yeah.
a simple site. Main page.
And I'm no rocket scientist, so
Like this is the about,
right.
the intermediate, the social media, the speakers, like simple, like
Simple.
everything that basic. You know, and you do all these sites like, and I'm coming from a designer perspective, dealing with clients who don't know nothing. Like these sites, these 4 sites are for everybody. Like I had somebody call me the other day with a business, they have a storefront, they're like, hey, I'm looking to do a website, should I invest that money into a website? I'm like, it's 2019, brother. You need a website. Like, so if you don't have a website and you're just operating that brick and mortar store, you're only gonna cater like within a 5 to 10 block radius of that community.
When you can contact the world.
Yeah, you know, and I told him, I was like, dude, you're only connecting with like a 10 block radius right now. You're not even connecting with the outer boroughs. You're stuck in one borough right now because if nobody knows about you, or if the word of mouth isn't powerful, you're not doing your marketing, like, you're only really known around that area. Like, only a couple people from the neighborhood are gonna buy those shirts, which is cool, but you can't rely on that as a business, or even as a nonprofit.
this time. You know, but people ask me, like, who does marketing, like, you know, like we do it all. So you don't, if you have the resources to hire some marketing company to put out an image for you, knock yourself out. But we're in the do-it-yourself era. So what I tell people, when it comes to Healing Souls is an extension of who we are. So everything you see on our social media and our website, it's us. Nobody else can be us. Nobody else can be you, nobody can be you, nobody can be you. So if you put a little piece of that in there, people are gonna gravitate to it because it's genuine, it's organic. You don't have to put an image out anymore. You are your image. You understand? Because you can only be you, you know, all the time. If you somebody else part of the time, that's no fun. You know what I'm saying? You see rappers and stuff that have this image, but then they want to be normal. No, you can't be normal. You have to be your image all the time because people are gonna be like, hold on, that wasn't what you were saying on that. No. So be as 100% genuine in what the content you put out. I keep it 100, like non-profit, non-profit. Like I'm not looking to please anybody. We looking to work. So whatever comes out my mouth, it's me. You know, so there's no science behind it. Just be you and be genuine and be 100%, and your content should reflect that. People will love you for it.
Like I got this website and people come to me like, oh, great. I'm like, this thing took me like a couple hours, you know, like, but it looks good. It's
Right,
it's on a
yeah,
template,
it's
like,
effective.
it explains everything to do immediately. Like, you can do pages if you want. Like, We got what we do, basic.
Yeah.
Shows a couple of events, Puerto Rico, you wanna know about the Puerto Rico initiative? And these are all things that came with the site. Like, these are all things that are already there, so it's like, plug and play, just plug it in, we good, like, done. Do you wanna donate? There you go.
Yeah, don't be intimidated, just, break it down into its components and just attack it on those levels.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll have the whole picture. And, it's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some energy, it's gonna be frustrating, you know, but it's doable. You know, I can do it, trust me. Yeah.
My aunt is a senior citizen, and she does it. Like, look, boom, right here. Wix for beginners. Wix has their own one. Like, you could look through all of them. I typically always go for like 11-minute ones. I'm like, just show me something quick. You know, like, I want to see something quick. Like, how can we get this started as fast as possible? Like, create a stunning Wix website. You know, like, and it's so, it breaks it down for you.
Hello everyone, my name is David Lee, and now I want to change the title of the website. Let me first ungroup these text boxes.
How long is this video?
Double click on that.
10 minutes.
Or click on
Sit down,
edit.
10 minutes. Or,
You can change the font size.
same thing, 17 minutes.
Listen, I learned how to do Photoshop. I mean, I had to.
This is what Ken remember. This is going to refresh his.
It's tutorials, everything, like everything, you have access to everything.
So here we go. So this is what we mean by backend. So you see how it's over here, things like that, and then it's showing the image. So this is more the backend, where it's like, you know, appearance, pages, media. So you're putting everything here, and then later on, there we go. And then it breaks it, boom, now I can view it. So that's the difference. So it's just different ways to do it, but they're all super user-friendly. They're all really easy to use. They all look beautiful, like amazing templates to make everybody look like a stud. Everybody, like, as long as you kind of really stick to the basics of the template, like, your site will look really good. Because I've had clients where it's like, I've done the whole template for them. I'll tell them, I'll be like, well, this is my cost, I'm gonna do a Wix site. Are you okay with that? Yeah, okay, cool. Only because I don't want you calling me later. And I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna send you the links. I'm gonna send you tutorials so you see how to do it. I'm gonna tell you everything I did. But then I'll come back to their site like 2 weeks later and they're like, can I pay you to hook it up? I'm like, so what happened?
Right.
And the site will be like, it'll be a nice site, right? Like, let's say, for example, we got this site. It'll be like this. I'll leave it like this, and I'll come back. And like I said, this will be like pink with yellow letters. I'm like, that, can you even see that? Like, can you see that? Like, if you can't see that, nobody else can see that. Like, do you understand that concept? But sometimes, like, the thing is, a lot of times people know bad design more than they know good design. That's why I always tell people, stick to the template. The template
They
is
already
there.
figured it out.
It's figured out.
They already figured it out.
And there's a science behind it. It's like that because that drives traffic. So they letting you know, like, yo, these templates are there because they've proven already that they drive traffic. Use the template. So that's why when people change it up so
It
dramatically.
ain't broke. It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. So any other questions? No other questions?
That's interesting.
You know, I think we changed the template because we
Oh, so
feel
you're-
that